Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what we have before us is a conspiracy of the ages, orchestrated, perpetrated, and maintained through blurred lines, perceptual witchcraft, and all-out lies to deceive the overwhelming masses. You, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have the opportunity to stop this madness today. You have the opportunity to break the chain of deception, break the yoke of perceptual bondage, and set free truth to its proper place in our lives. And in the end days, the masses will be forced to admit they inherited lies and acted out in go back to Africa rebellion about the very things you have the opportunity to willingly accept today. The truth. Be not turned off by my country dialect, nor be not dismayed at my unwavering stride for understanding. But I do ask you to ask my God for wisdom and understanding before you cast your vote. I do ask you to be upright in your judgment of the overall evidence. I know what I'm asking of you is no small task, for world history and world religion as we know it is in the balance, with your individual vote tipping the scales towards righteousness for generations to come within your household. So without further ado, my closing argument. According to Wikipedia, under Turks in Egypt, quote, Egyptian Turks, also referred to as Turco-Egyptians or Egyptian Turkoman, are Egyptian citizens of Turkish descent who have been living in Egypt since the Turkish Mamluk and Ottoman eras. Today, their descendants continue to live there and still identify as Turkish, though they have also fully integrated in Egyptian society. Listen up. In the years before the Egyptian Revolution, the ruling and upper classes were mainly Turkish or of Turkish and Albanian descent, which was part of the heritage from the Ottoman rule of Egypt. Stop. This is our starting point, ladies and gentlemen. As we have discovered in Exhibit A through F videos, the Sea Peoples and Hun civilizations were launched at the northern end of the earth, descended upon, conquered, and their elite mingled themselves with the heathen. While the common Hun stock within their civilization, they merely occupied all the lands that were conquered. Through DNA, history, and the scriptures, we have made a safe deduction the common Hun stock to be the people we now call Turkish. Let's continue, please. According to Wikipedia under Turks in the Arab world, quote, Turks in the Arab world refers to ethnic Turks who live in the Arab world. The immigration of Seljukins, which were the targets of the Crusades, and its successors, the Mamluks, and the conquest of the region by the Ottoman Empire, set in motion important population movements of Turkish colonizers who were brought over from Anatolia to Algeria, Egypt, Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, Libya, Morocco, Saudi Arabia, Syria, Tunisia, United Arab Emirates, and Yemen, establishing a firm Turkish base to further conquest in the region. Hence, the Ottomans used colonization as a very effective method to consolidate their power and position in the region. Example. So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, the mingled people we have been discussing throughout our theory has truly mingled themselves throughout the entire trek of the seed of Adam's inheritance. As you can also see, Turkish kings, princes, and rulers dominated the landscape then and are still living in the same countries with power and prestige today. This one fact will be enough to scripturally break their backs. But that's not all. I might as well give it to you butt naked and raw. Guess what? The Turk creatures did it again. Yep, another haplogroup Y supergene. Rulers invaded the earth in 1206. And as you can probably guess, they took over the exact same regions we are discussing the Mingo people relocated. But wait, allow me to ask you a question, gentle strangers of the jury. What would be the odds, actuarial science style? This particular Y haplogroup elite amalgamated with the elite of the already mingled conquered. I can't make this stuff up. Check it out. According to Discover, under 1 in 200 men are direct descendants of Genghis Khan. August 2010. Quote, in 2003, a groundbreaking historical genetics paper reported results which indicate that a substantial proportion of men in the world are direct line descendants of Genghis Khan. Stop. Wow. Did you hear that? You know what it is. It's amazing. But let's continue, please. Quote, by direct line, I mean that they carry Y chromosomes which seem to have come down from an individual who lived approximately 1,000 years ago. Since 2003, there have been other cases of super Y lineages. For example, the Manchu lineage and the Ur-Nil lineage, which is redheads from Ireland. Please listen up. Quote, the existence of these Y chromosomal lineages, please listen up. The existence of these Y chromosomal lineages, which have burst upon the genetic landscape like explosive stars sweeping aside all other variations before them, indicates a periodic winner-takes-all dynamic in human genetics, more reminiscent of hyperpolygnosis mammals such as the elephant seals. Stop. Oh my goodness. Did you hear that? As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we are on the right track after all. Didn't we just discover the Manchu elite defeated, absorbed, and amalgamated with the Mongols so they could do the exact same thing to the Aboriginal Chinaman? Yes, we did. I don't know about the mating rituals of the elephant seals, but looking at the context it's being used, they must be animal whores. Why am I bringing this up, you wonder? To show you yet again, only the religions/beliefs and territories change for the serpent seed. Check it out. Under the genetic legacy of the Mongols. Quote, we have identified a Y chromosomal lineage with several unusual features. It was found in 16 populations throughout a large regions of Asia, stretching from the Pacific to the Caspian Sea, and was present at high frequency. 8% of the men in this region carrying it, and it thus makes up 0.5% of the world total. Stop. Bingo. And that can only mean the super Y gene is concentrated in the areas we discovered they migrated to. Let's continue. Quote, the pattern of variations within the lineage suggests that it originated in Mongolia 1,000 years ago. Listen up. Quote, such a rapid spread cannot have occurred by chance. It must have been a result of selection. Bingo! Listen up. Quote, like descent from the gods in the mythology of the classical world, or the house of David in medieval Christian monarchies? What? A line back to Genghis Khan became a necessary precondition for fitness to be a ruler in the centuries after the rise of the Mongol Empire across much of Asia. Bingo! Listen up good. Quote, to me, the power and fury of the Mongol expansion, the awe and magnetism which Genghis Khan's bloodline held for Asiatic societies in the wake of their world conquest, is attested to by the fact that descendants from Genghis Khan became a mark of prestige even within Islamic societies. Bingo! Listen up. Quote, Timur claimed a relationship to Chagatai. His descendants in India, the Timurids, retained pride in their Genghiside heritage. In Russia, among the Muslim Tartars, and in Central Asia, among the Uzbeks, descent from Genghis Khan was a major calling card for any would-be warlord. And the power of descent from Genghis Khan, the monopoly of the commanding heights which his male line descendants still felt to be theirs by right of their blood, obtained at the heart of his empire, Mongolia, down to a very late period. Example. Wow. Now do you see why I call this a conspiracy of the ages? I mean, we are not rocket scientists, people. Heck, we colors. I'm not Jediah Malik. No, I'm not arrogant enough to think that I'm smart. And the great right white man, with all of this information at his fingertips, didn't have the wherewithal to simply overlap history. Come on, people. They can see it just like we can see it. They have confederated together, saying, let us cut the masses off from wisdom and understanding, so they will not perceive our grafting ourselves in to Adam kind. No, ladies and gentlemen, hold those accountable that through sorcery shadow their accountability. History and genetics are clear. Fairly recently in history, as it were in the days of Noah, the entire world has been infected with the seed of the serpents, with an S. Saying all of that, allow me to ask all of ye triple C's a question. When you read Uncle Jeremiah 32, starting at verse 15 in the Septuagint, what do you perceive? I perceive my entire theory in a nutshell. You want to hear it? Here it go. Perceptual context. Okay, I think I have given you enough proof to show the people we call Turks today, meaning all the white people in the entire Middle East and the Mediterranean, are of a seed of wicked distinction. Geneticists, not baptized to scribe, but geneticists call the super Y haplogroup a super Y gene. Their elite mingled with a seed of the most ambiguous. Is that a good clean word for it? People, meaning their miscongeniations was with those whose beginnings are not of the seed of Adam's, nor was their inheritance in Adam's earth circuit. But yet, with the aid and comfort given to them by modern history scholars, they have not only successfully mingled themselves through programs and plans with the seed of Adam, they immediately ran roughshod and ruled over them to this very day. And no, this is not talking about the mingling of the toes in Daniel 2 and 43, but we will check that out later. But as far as this mingling of the feet, Jeremiah 32, verse 15 and through, in the Septuagint, quote, thus says the Lord God of Israel, take the cup of this unmixed wine from my hand, and thou shalt cause all the nations to drink to whom I send thee. And they shall drink and vomit and be mad. because of the sword which I send among them. Stop. To understand Yah's panoramic view, we must understand hardly anyone drank plain water back then, and they tried not to drink uncut wine. For as the scriptures attest, a little wine purifies the water, and uncut wine was equated to strong drink. So in essence, y'all want them to hiccup bubbles and see pink elephants. Saying that, obviously this is talking about the end days. Question, little Miss Ivy, who is the sort of my God in the end days? Yep, fee, fi, fo, fum. Let's continue, please. Yah starts with you know who first. Quote, so I took the cup out of the Lord's hand and caused the nations to whom the Lord sent me to drink, Jerusalem and the cities of Judah and the kings of Judah and his princes, to make them a desert place, a desolation, and a hissing. Stop. Did this not happen to Jerusalem after Rome sacked, razed, and bulldozed it? Yes. Yes, it did. Now Yah switches to Pharaoh. Listen up. Quote, and Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and his servants, and his nobles, and all his people, semicolon, and all the mingled people. Stop. Bingo. According to Google and myself, a semicolon is a punctuation mark indicating a pause, typically between two main clauses, that is more pronounced than that indicated by a comma, which can only mean, quote, and all his people, semicolon, and all the mingled people are two different people. Think about it like a family tree for just a minute. His people can't be his family because they are already mentioned as his nobles. That can only mean Pharaoh's people are his racial subjects, and the mingled people within his borders are not, or under his command, are not. Remember, we just read how the Turks ruled Egypt and maintained power for quite some time before the Arab Muslims reigned. Question, who do you think the mingling people are in this case? Before you answer, remember we just discovered at the beginning of the video, the Super Y haplogroup was purposely spread throughout areas the noble Turkish Khan elite presided over, all the way down to their religious orders. You remember? Do you remember which countries they mentioned? If not, here is the list again. It's going to be important for the next part. Quote, Turks in the Arab world refers to ethnic Turks who lived in the Arab world. The immigrations of Seljukins and its successors, the Mamluks, and the conquest of the region by the Ottoman Empire set in motion important population movements of Turkish colonizers who were brought over from Anatolia to Algeria, Egypt, Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, Libya, Morocco, Saudi Arabia, Syria, Tunisia, United Arab Emirates, and Yemen, establishing a firm Turkish base for further conquest in the region. Hence, the Ottomans used colonization as a very effective method to consolidate their position and power in the region. So the way I figured, if the scriptures mention either the kings of these lands or the people as being mingled, and by what we just read, this is a no-brainer task. Let's continue with the scriptures, please. Verse 20. Wait a minute. There's something else.